You are now watching Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times!
What's going on, horror fanatics? Welcome to
I shot him 6 times!
YouTube Horror Movie Channel. As you know, I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. If you have not done so already, please shoot this video a like. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm a ton. As well as if you're a new viewer to this channel, please shoot that subscribe button as well as that notification icon so you get all the latest content updates to the channel. Okay, everyone, so we know for a fact when Halloween Ends was released 7 months ago, it was met with mixed reviews. Some enjoyed the film, some didn't. And the main point of criticism for those who did not enjoy the film was the direction that director David-Gordon-Green decided to take the movie in, having new character Corey Cunningham be the main focus and antagonist in the film, while Michael Myers was featured so little, especially given the fact that the promotion built around the film teased an epic final showdown between Myers and franchise final girl Laurie Strode. That didn't live up nowhere near close to what the hype had promoted. So, about a month ago, co-writer Danny McBride spoke with Us Weekly discussing the fans' criticism as well as some other things about the film. Let's get into the article. For critics and fans of the Halloween film franchise, Halloween Ends proved to be a divisive conclusion to the saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Disappointed fans felt that the movie didn't feature enough of the original boogeyman and instead focused on a new villain, Corey Cunningham, played by Rohancampbell, to do most of the heavy lifting. The film garnered such strong reactions that a petition on change.org asked for signatures to reshoot the film. Danny McBride, the writer and actor best known for his work on comedic projects including Eastbound and Down, Pineapple Express, This Is the End, and The Righteous Gemstones, served as an executive producer and writer for Green's Halloween trilogy. In conversation with Us Weekly, McBride discussed the film's backlash. McBride would respond by saying, "I think that is a valid criticism. All three of these movies was really David Green's sort of brainchild. He had a very distinct idea of what he wanted to do with this, and I just felt lucky that he brought me along for the ride to help him where I could and to try to give him anything I could on it. And when he told me his pitch for focusing on his Corey character, I thought that it was cool. I thought it was a smart take on it. I thought it was a way to avoid repetition and sort of explore something a little different and still tying it into what Halloween's ultimately about." That's not to say that all were unimpressed with Halloween Ends, as some viewers agreed with McBride and have applauded Green's decision to take an unexpected route. Despite the film's reception, McBride enjoyed being a part of the iconic franchise. McBride would further go on to say, "I am a massive Halloween fan as well, so you just want to give something that would make the fans excited and not make the fans angry with you. It was fun to try to pull that off, for better or worse, and to get to meet John Carpenter and Jamie Lee Curtis. It was kind of surreal to be participating in furthering that story. It was awesome. I've always tried to just pick things that keep me excited creatively or put me to work with people that I admire or have wanted to work with, and ultimately, is the project something that I would want to see myself in?" The story of Haddonfield's Boogeyman dates back to 1978, when audiences were introduced to Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. Directed by John Carpenter, the original slasher film went on to include multiple sequels, and the film franchise now has a total of 13 films. While Halloween Ends definitely pointed at the demise of Michael Myers, McBride believes the franchise can still be reimagined by other filmmakers. McBride finishes off by saying, "I feel like we had a blast creating this and making this, and it kind of feels like we have put our thumbprint on it. And I think, never say never, but I would be interested to see what else is out there, what else somebody can do with this," he said. Okay, everyone, so now let's break down Danny's comments. I will give him a lot of credit for coming out and, speaking on this, because there's a lot of, writers, directors that really won't. They will just sit there and say very little and just say, hey, we made the movie we made. You like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. That's just what it is. He actually took the time to kind of detail why people who didn't like the film, much like myself, he took the time to explain why they didn't like the film. But if there is one thing that I do wish he would have mentioned, and why people like myself who disliked Halloween Ends I wish he would have mentioned the fact that they built this up to be a final epic clash between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode. He did not mention that. I'm a little disappointed in that, because outside of the whole direction of the story, that was another big reason why fans were disappointed. We were sold a can of goods. We were sold that this is going to be the most knockout, drag-out fight between Michael and Laurie that we have seen in the franchise, and that's not what we got. So I am a little disappointed he didn't bring that aspect of it up, but I do like the fact that he pointed out that fans were going to be upset with this direction because it is something that we didn't really see coming in the first two films. But I also respect the fact on him clarifying that the reason why they wanted to go in this direction was to be different. The reason why I respect him for saying this, and I applaud him saying this, is because this shows us, the audience, that whether we like it or not, there are some directors, writers, and just overall creators out there that are trying to put their own imprint on said franchise. We talk about it all the time, about these creators picking up these iconic names such as Halloween, Scream, and doing these films, but they're not really doing anything different and putting their own imprint on it. They're just basically recreating what the original director did and updating it for the modern audience. However, him clarifying that, look, we understood going into this was a risky decision, but we wanted to do this so we weren't being repetitive and to add something fresh. That, to me, I got to give them all the credit in the world for taking that type of gamble, because they knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew there was a possibility this was going to be met with a lot of backlash, and they didn't care. They made their movie, which is why, even though I don't like Halloween Ends, I actually respect it a lot more now after reading Danny's comments and what he had to say in this article. I respect the film a lot more now, for the simple fact is, these guys tried to get different. You don't have to always like the way that these creators try to get different with our favorite films, but in my opinion, you do have to respect it, especially when we're the fans, we're the ones who are out there giving them hell for not trying to be different. So I definitely do respect Halloween Ends a lot more now than I did 7 months ago, especially after reading Danny's comments in this article. Now, another thing I want to touch on what Danny said as well is the fact of saying never say never about, other creators picking up the Halloween franchise, and, Michael Myers is supposed to be dead, at least in this timeline, but there's always ways you can reimagine the franchise, and that's absolutely right. There are so many different storylines in the Halloween franchise that still can be finished out. I talked about this in my 6 Ways Back to Haddonfield video. I will leave that video in the end screen of this video so you guys can take a look on 6 possible ways we get another Michael Myers led Halloween film. But another thing that really intrigued me in his comments is when he said, I'm interested to see if any filmmaker, if they would want to do something with this. And the reason why that's interesting to me is because I'm assuming that he's talking about the Corey Cunningham storyline. The Corey Cunningham being the new Michael Myers type of Halloween, if you will. When he said that basically about these new creators picking this up, I'd like to see what they do with this. To me, that told me that he is kind of hopeful that Corey Cunningham's character and this storyline between him and now Allison Strode would get picked up by another creator, or possibly, if David Gordon Green is open to coming back to the Halloween franchise, as well as him to write it, this is something that they would want to do, is being that Michael Myers is dead in their timeline, have Corey Cunningham be the new shape, be the new Michael Myers. Now, I know for a fact, guys, that a lot of us would not really like that, because Michael Myers is Michael Myers. He's the face of the franchise. However, when it comes to the mask and when it comes to the costume, I know some of you are not going to like hearing this, but this is the fact. The mask and the costume is the shape. That's not Michael Myers. That is the shape. That is what we call the shape. And now, especially after Halloween Ends, David Gordon Green has made it to where anybody could be the shape. anybody could put on that Michael Myers mask and be considered the shape. Doesn't matter if your name's Corey Cunningham. Doesn't matter if your name is Marcus Witherspoon. Doesn't matter. You put on that costume and you put on that mask. You put on that jumpsuit. You are the shape. So in my opinion, given from what Danny McBride said in these comments with Us Weekly, at least in my opinion, from, just being hinted at it anyway, I definitely do feel when he talks about these new filmmakers possibly picking up the Halloween franchise, he is somewhat hopeful that they pick up from where him and David Gordon Green left off with Corey Cunningham. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, but that's just where I'm going at in terms of what I'm feeling from reading that comment. But okay, everyone, that is it for this video. Leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think about Danny McBride's comments to Us Weekly, as well as let me know what you guys think about the idea of another filmmaker picking up the Halloween franchise, as well as picking up where David Gordon Green and Danny McBride left off with the Corey Cunningham storyline. Once again, this is
I shot him 6 times.
YouTube Horror Movie Channel. I'm your host and creator of the channel, Marcus. Be sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. Thank you all for watching.